So welcome everyone to a beautiful afternoon on the campus of New York Medical College. It's really a phenomenal day, and we're here to celebrate the naming of the plaza of this medical education building. And after we have a chance, we didn't know exactly what the weather was going to be like today, so we decided that we'd do some speeches inside and then do the ribbon cutting outside. So we'll get a chance to enjoy the beautiful sunshine and see the new plaza in just a few moments. One of the pieces of Touro's mission statement, Touro University's mission statement, is from one of the Talmudic stages. A part of that mission statement is from one of the Talmudic stages. And it says, if I'm not for myself, who am I? But if I only care about myself, then what good have I done? And that really presciently reflects some of the things that we try to teach our students today, whether they be undergraduates or medical students, which is that each of us in our lives has to balance personal gain with our responsibility to society. And as physicians, we certainly have a tremendous sense of responsibility to society, which we reflect in a variety of ways in our medical practice. But sometimes one encounters an individual who really exemplifies this idea that as successful as they've been personally, they need to reflect the fact that they have a responsibility to others, a responsibility to society, and a responsibility to those organizations that have helped them. And it's rare that you meet someone who embodies this as well as Dr. Alexander does. When I first met him, he's a 1977 graduate of New York Medical College. When I first met him, he talked eloquently about the fact that through a variety of what he called accidents, what I consider probably a great deal of talent, he's in a position to help others. And he spent the past few years donating money to a variety of organizations that do a tremendous amount of good in the world, that support scientific research, that help other people, and that serve society. And in that spirit, he's made an extraordinary, generous donation to New York Medical College to support scholarships for students who are interested in family medicine, which he considers to be a great human calling, as we will agree to. And Dr. Alexander is here today. He's come to campus. We're thrilled to have him here. Dr. Halpern, I believe, will say a few words, and then Dr. Alexander will address us. We'll go outside for ribbon cutting. But you're going to hear from Dr. Alexander, as I said, an amazing human being and someone who really recognizes his debt to others and his responsibility to try to make the world a better place in an increasingly challenging environment. So thank you, Dr. Alexander, and we'll look forward in just a moment to hearing from you.
Dr. Alexander, looking over your right shoulder is Todd Helmuth. He was a surgeon and was, as he appears, quite the society surgeon of the Upper East Side of New York with those mutton chops. He certainly looks the part. That is Walter Crump. Dr. Crump's father was a European immigrant who moved to Rochester, New York, and their friends and neighbors were Frederick Douglass. And his father became an ardent abolitionist and operated a stop on the Underground Railroad, because after Rochester was Canada and freedom. And Dr. Crump was therefore raised in an abolitionist household, graduated from New York Medical College in the 1880s, and he was a surgeon. You can see from the gown, the green means herbs for medicine. The three stripes are doctor. And he established the first desegregated hospital in Manhattan, International Hospital, in the 1920s. And his pet project was continuing medical education for black physicians. He ran a CME course in Tuscaloosa, Alabama, every year. And out of his personal checkbook, he chartered a private railroad car to go from New York so that black physicians would not have to sit in segregated railroad cars in the 1920s to go to Tuscaloosa. And he established a scholarship, which you are joining a long legacy of scholarships. In 1929, the first scholarship in the United States, he wrote in his indenture, it should only be held by a deserving negress and Negro, was his term in 1929. And at the height of the power of the Klan in New York, New York Medical College proudly took the money, and it was on the front pages of the newspaper. And the first recipient was Myra Adele Logan, the second black woman to be elected to the American College of Surgeons. The word scholarship is Middle German and Latin, as scholar, and it probably comes to us from Herodotus, the 400 BC Greek writer, who says it requires demonstrable evidentiary evidence, demonstrable evidence. It's an interesting term. It's a very fancy Greek way of saying scholarship, you can't make it up. And its use as money to educate young scholars probably comes into the English language in the 1580s, the first time it's used. So, Dr. Alexander, the most important thing we do is to welcome young people to the community of scholars for the generation and dissemination and conservation of knowledge about the causes and prevention of human disease and disability. The most important thing we do is try to make medical care better for our grandchildren than it is for us. Most important thing we do is try to predict the future of medicine by inventing it ourselves. You are amongst good company there on the wall, and we are very grateful for the gift, and thank you for joining us today to celebrate it.
Thank you for your kind words. I was saying before, I can't believe it's been over a half a century when I first stepped on this campus, and how things have changed, as well as how things remain the same. But again, thank you for your kind words. But really, this is about my late father. And I know that refreshments are coming up very soon, so I'm going to keep my comments very brief. Let me just begin by providing you with a bit of context regarding the impelling force behind the creation of this endowment. My late father had a lifelong, I would say, ferocious appetite for knowledge and education. And not just in business, at which he excelled, but almost in any subject that even serendipitously came within a whisper of his attention. He was driven to understand it and then push the needle forward for the betterment of all. And I think, in all likelihood, had he not gone into business, he probably would have become a university professor over at Columbia University, where he got his BA and law degree by the time he was 21 years old. He was constantly educating himself, as well as, shall we say, edifying others, which was pretty much a fundamental part of his character. His leadership in business and in so many other cultural, civic, academic, scientific, and Jewish causes was nearly peerless, notwithstanding his position as the longest-serving CEO in American history of a public company. His interest in the sciences preceded his chairmanship at the time in New York Medical College, which of course meant intermittently I would be peppered with shockingly granular basic science questions during my first year here by my father. And I kept asking myself, how did he come up with these questions? Well, not surprisingly, perhaps, until one evening I kind of quietly snuck into his bedroom and I found an old Leninger's biochemistry textbook, among other texts lying around that no doubt he had been studying late at night in preparation for my next day's unannounced oral examinations. But this was my dad. He wanted me to be prepared, to learn, to grow, and he was right. And I think today he would have given me a passing grade. So allow me to say that on behalf of the foundation, in recognition of my late father's deep commitment to the pursuit of knowledge and education for the betterment of others, and our desire to support those medical students who are planning to dedicate themselves to serve on the front lines of medicine, I'm especially pleased to be here with all of you this afternoon, honoring my late father's memory with this wonderful dedication ceremony. So thank you again for being part of this celebration. Thank you.
I'm sure your father is looking down, very proud. Let's all head outside now for the ribbon cutting, and then we'll come back in for refreshments.